Good day, my friends and families. Today we are talking on divine health, part 3. We'll be looking at the origin of sickness. We're going to look at the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 to 28. The creation in God's image. So we look at Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, and it says, "And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." Verse 27 says, "God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them." We are also going to look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And it says, "And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul." And we're going to look at Genesis chapter 3 from verse 3 downwards. And it says, Genesis chapter 3, verse 3, "But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God had said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest you die." So we are looking at the origin of sickness. Creation, God created man in his own image. And in the image of God, there is no sickness, there is no disease, there is no infirmity. God is perfect, God is healthy, and he created man and told man to have dominion over everything on the earth, which includes sickness and diseases. But if you look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, it says, God breathed into man the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So God breathed into man. What made God? God himself. God breathed into man the divine nature that sickness cannot withstand. So if we have that breath of God in us, according to the image of God, sickness and disease and affliction cannot come near your dwelling, because you have the nature of God. But Genesis chapter 3, verse 3 says, the fall of man, that God told man not to eat a particular fruit, and the day you eat it, that is the day you will die. In other words, the fall of man is what introduced sin into this world. And immediately sin entered into the world, it was sin that now brought sickness. It was sin that brought poverty, suffering, death, and the forces of death, like accidents and all the suffering that mankind is going through. So God's original plan, God's original intention is for man to live in perfect health, divine health. So healing is actually God's plan to restore man back to his original intention. So God's healing plan is to bring you to a perfect health, to bring you to that state of no disease, no sickness, where you can live in the nature and in the image of God. So the origin of sickness is when man fell, and the fall of man now brought death and the forces of death, which include sickness, which include accidents, which include affliction, which include poverty and suffering. So for us to experience the nature of God, we need to go back to God and experience divine health. Today we are going to stop here today, and we'll continue next time. Thank you very much, and God bless you.